Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2020, and in today's video we have an absolute beast here. This is the Antonov AN225, the Maria, something like that. As I'm sure you are well aware, this is the incredibly massive Ukrainian transport aircraft. 6 engines, as you can see. And in today's video, we're going to be taking it down from here in Poland all the way down to Cape Town, South Africa. So the kind of fictional backstory is Working on Fire is a company in Cape Town that operates aircraft to fight fires. And they recently purchased a Black Hawk helicopter to help with their firefighting missions. And we're imagining that they've ordered another 3 from the Sikorsky factory in Poland. And we are shipping all 3 down to Cape Town so that they will be ready for the fire season. It's about a 13.5-hour flight, and we've got, I think it's about 186 tons worth of cargo loaded up on the aircraft. Everything is loaded because I didn't want to make you wait for the doors to open because it takes a while. But yeah, this will be my first long-haul flight in the aircraft. I've done a couple of short test flights, so I'm gonna kind of be learning as we go as well, but that's the plan for today's flight. So let's jump aboard the AN225. So there it is. There's our cargo is 3 Black Hawks, and if we look here, that is weight. Now I'm guessing that is the weight of 1 helicopter. Our total payload weight today is 173, almost 174 tons, but we're actually going to bring that up a little bit because we're bringing on board 7 crew members as well, like so. And I'm not sure this has changed. So that is loaded, and okay, I think it's just reset because we're now almost 300 tons of cargo. So passengers 500, cargo weight 17,400. We've got 281 tons of fuel. I'm not quite sure where the payload weight comes to 300 when we've only got 17 tons of cargo. But anyway, let's start getting things set up. So what we're actually going to do is go ahead and close the doors. We can leave the internal door open, but we'll close the cabin door outside, and that should now start the process of closing up the ramp and the cargo door. So I'll speed this up in post, otherwise we're gonna have to wait quite a long time, but we'll do a quick time lapse of that closing up. Another interesting thing about the aircraft is it actually kneels down, so it's got 2 nose gear, and you'll see in the video that in order for cargo to be loaded, the whole front of the aircraft actually kneels. Those nose gear kind of tilt forwards, and that brings the nose of the aircraft down so the cargo can be loaded. It kneels down onto those supports, and there we can see the front wheels going back and bringing the nose of the aircraft back up. Once it's back to its normal height, the nose will come, or the nose cone I suppose, will come down and close the cargo door. Alright, so there we go. We're all closed up. And as we jump aboard, the first thing you may notice is that this is going to be a bit of a challenge because This is a cockpit like no other. When I looked around, it was kind of like getting into the Concorde for the first time. Like, Concorde is just completely different from everything else. This is the same. And if we look around, I think there's about 6 or 7 people that you need to operate this aircraft. So we've got 4 seats here, and on this side I think there's 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stations. So this is going to be quite a challenge to operate a single person. But let's see if we can start getting things set up. So batteries are currently on already, and we're running on the ground power. But what we need to do now is we need to go and fire up the APU. So this aircraft actually has 2 APUs. So that's what we're going to do next. And the APUs are over here. So we want the loop on, we want the bleed on, and we want the start switch or the master switch to start. And then we can go and click the start button. And after a short delay, we should see this coming up, which it is. Okay, and we're just waiting for the APU to stabilize, and that's APU 1. Okay, so that is stable. I'm not entirely sure why it says ready to start, because my understanding is it's now running, but we'll do the same for this one. Okay, while that's stabilizing, let's come across over here, because this is where we're actually going to engage the APUs. And now we can see that they are both running. So let's turn on the generators for APU 1 and 2. And we can then switch off the GPU. And we can go and get rid of the GPU and the chocks. Parking brake is set. So it's fine that we can get rid of the chocks. Right, now we need to turn on rectifiers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I need to try and remember where the hell those are. Okay, so that's these. This is obviously all to do with the electrics. So we're now connecting the electrics, and we need to do the same with the transformers. I believe these are. So the transformer rectifiers, those are all now connected. So we're basically just getting all the electrical systems connected up. We now need to come across to this side, and all of our instrument nav master switches we turn on, and there's a lot of them. And then we go to the captain's seat and turn on HSI, red alt, AHI, not that one, DME, not this one, ASI, TCAS, VSI. Fan we can leave off for now. We'll turn we can probably leave that off. What's the temperature? Currently 16 degrees, so we shouldn't need that. Okay, those are all on, but we're just going to go across and do the same for the first officer. Cool. Okay, nav lights are already on. Now we can go back this side and start doing fuel pumps. Now by default they should be in a pretty workable state. So I think this is already fine. We just need to make sure that these are on, these are off. Now in the reference, these are off. I think we're going to keep it as is for now. Let's rather not mess with it. Okay, now we need to come down this side and do the hydraulic pumps. These all need to be off for now. We'll turn them on once we've started the engines. Okay, fuel and payload is set and the cargo door is closed. We already have our route loaded in the GPS. We might actually need to change this because the wind has changed. We might not actually be doing the runway 33 departure, but we'll double check that when we are closer to setting off. It would be nice to do runway 33 because we're right there. If we do runway 15, we've got to taxi all the way to the end of the airport. Okay, now we need to kind of deal a bit with the autopilot. So this is kind of confusing. So the first thing we're going to need to do is work out our initial cruise altitude today is 28,000 feet. So let's convert that to meters. That's a good thing they gave us this because it's very, very helpful. So 8,534 meters. Okay, so 8,534. So that's set. And then let's do speed. So 250 knots would be 463. So let's dial this up to 460. As that's what or that's the speed we'll do until we reach 10,000 feet to keep below that restriction. Okay, so that'll work. Then to put it in nav mode, because we want to follow that GPS course, roll this over to nav, and I'm not sure if we can actually click these now until it's on, but we'll hit that one, which is kind of your main navigation mode. So if we're in nav, that's going to follow the GPS, and then we'll go it's either this one or this one. I think it's this one, which will follow our airspeed and climb based on our power setting. We will use the auto throttle, but only later. I'm going to set the power manually, I think, until we get up to cruise, and then we'll switch over to the auto throttle. Okay, so I think we're good on that for now. We'll dial that over to indicated airspeed. Yeah, this is going to be pitch hold, and this is going to be kind of like level change speed hold, I guess. Okay, we do have our standby instrument, which gives us knots and feet, I believe. This one gives us feet for sure. Everything else is in meters. This, however, is vertical speed in feet, I think. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay, I think that's fine for now. And now, I think the next thing to do is just get the engines fired up. So, we can turn on the beacon light. And then, we need to come back down here. And this is actually a really sophisticated starting system. Right, we need to make sure that this is open and these are all on. Okay, those are all up, so that's good. Then I think it's these ones. Oh, we can't actually set these, so it must. Oh yes, it's these ones. These need to all be up, which they already are. Cool. I think we can leave those like that, and then somewhere here. See, these are each of the individual engines. So we need to select this one, which does all of them. Somewhere here we need to tell it it's an auto start. Alright, I think it's just that to say we're starting all the engines. And then we just click launch to get them firing up. And now we should see, it should do engine 1 and then engine 6. I think we may have missed something. Okay, there we go. So we got it. I just had to hold it down instead of just press it once. Okay, so engine 1 is beginning to start up. This takes a while. There's 6 engines, but what a cool system. I mean, if you compare this even to like the 737 and 787 even, you've got to introduce the fuel at the correct time. But this, you kind of just click start and it does it all for you in the correct order, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so now we're just going to wait and it's going to go through the start sequence and start up all 6 engines. Okay, engines are stable now. So let's come down here and close this panel, and then we can now turn on all of our hydraulics, and that'll take a while, and then we should see those pressurize like so. I'm not sure what these are and if we're supposed to turn them on. I think we'll leave them on just in case. Okay, then we need to come across here and turn on the generators 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we can switch off the APUs. Okay, and that should shut down both APUs. Go flaps to position 2, even though we go flaps full for takeoff, which is also interesting. Okay, ground spoilers need to be armed, which they are, and we'll bring up the thrust reverser handle. Do a bit of a flight control check. That's all good. Yeah, we'll also go into high idle, so we don't get any buildup in the engines. Then taxi lights on, logo lights are already on. Okay, I'm going to double check the winds. We have a 1 knot tailwind taking off from runway 33, so we're going to do that rather than taxiing all the way to the end, because we've also got to do our engine run up once we line up with the runway. Okay, so I think it's time now for us to taxi out. Release the parking brake, and let's start slowly moving out. Okay, we're going to go straight onto the runway, turn on the strobe lights and the landing lights, and then we need to do a bit of a run up. Okay, so we'll set the parking brake. Go back to low idle. And then we need to go up to 70%. Okay, we need to keep it there for 2 minutes. Right, so we've got to go all the way around and back there again. I'm not sure what the lock actually does. It doesn't stop me from moving it. Coming up to 1 minute, so we go flaps full. And we'll turn on the window heat as well. Alright, coming up to 2 minutes now. Okay, we can go ahead and take off. So we'll release the brakes and go full throttle. And it accelerates really quickly, actually, this thing. There's positive rates. We'll bring the gear up. Okay, we can bring up 1 notch of flaps. Let's get the autopilot in to help us. We'll go to nav mode, and we'll go to speed mode as well, and we can bring our thrust back to climb at about 95, I think, for now. Okay, let's dial this up once again to 460.
Set the gear to the neutral position and close the latch. We can bring the flaps up one notch again. And flaps up. We can stow the reverser for now. Okay, flaps are now completely up. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty intense. Okay, so at 95%, we're gonna have a pretty chill climb. We're climbing just over 2,000 feet a minute now, which is perfectly fine. And nicely following our GPS routes. Right, once we pass 10,000 feet, we're climbing through 7,000 now. We'll go up to about 550 kilometers an hour. I might have to increase the thrust later on. As you can see, our vertical speed is dropping a bit, and it's because we're turning. But as we get higher up, that's probably going to drop even more. I might just have to bump that up, but we'll see how it goes. There we go, absolutely powering our way out of Poland. And obviously this is a nighttime departure, but we will be arriving in Cape Town during the day. So we're expecting to arrive in Cape Town around midday. We're coming up to 10,000 feet now. Okay, so we can go up and turn off the landing lights. And we'll bring the speed up to 550. We'll keep that constant throttle position.
Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit more power so we can keep climbing now at our higher speed. Beautiful clear night here over Poland. Okay, just passing through 13,000 feet. I bumped the power up a little bit again. Okay, so our initial altitude 280, and then a demop, which is our 5th-ish waypoint. We go up to 29 because then we start a turn to the east. And then TRL we go up to 310. Eloxo 330, and then Jebra back down. Just trying to see where that is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Jebra we go down to 320 because we start heading west again. Okay, so now also just keeping an eye on the Mach number, because what should we climb at? 0.74 maybe? And once we get to the Mach we want to climb at, we're going to switch over to Mach holds. So yeah, we'll probably do 0.74. Give it a little bit more power now as well. Increase our rate of climb. Let's maybe stay at 0.7 for the climb. Just because we're kind of starting to struggle a bit. We're doing only just over 1,000 feet a minute now. like a bit of a cloud bank up ahead, which we'll be easily going over. But that's pretty cool. Coming up to 27,000 feet now. Okay, that blue light has come on to say that we are intercepting our altitude. I'm just going to turn on the auto throttle so we can maintain our speed, because this doesn't quite match up now. We're not actually at 28,000 feet, but I think it's because this changing this barrel ref doesn't change that one. So we need to see what standard barrel ref is for this, and we have that here. Okay, no, that's not right. We want to put this here. 759.8 we want to try and put in. Okay, that's why. Pretty much do 760, I think. Okay, that's a lot better. Coming up to a bit of a cloud bank. Okay, there we are. We're now level at 28,000 feet. Let's go back down to our GPS. So DMOP is the next waypoint where we climb up to 29,000 feet. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually gonna cut the video here. All that's left for us to do now is cruise all the way down to Cape Town, and I'll join you guys again when it's time to prep for our descent. Alright, so we're just coming up to Addons, and I fear we've left our descent quite late here. So what I need to do is just figure out, I think we're descending to 3,000 feet. We're definitely changing from runway 19 to runway 01. But I'm going to fix that in the descent because we need to get down, or we need to start descending soon. We should have actually already started. So let's just check here. We'll go down to 3,000. Actually, it might even be 2,000. Let's do 3,000 to start with. So, no, not 30,000. 914 meters. Okay, we'll actually start that descent already. Okay, there we go. So 914. Okay, then while we've started our descent, we can double check a couple of things. So our approach today, we're doing the ILS for runway 1 in Cape Town. So we're going to need to change that down here because I think that this is actually set to 19. The winds have changed. Oh, it looks like that's what we've already got. Oh, okay, it is set to runway 1, so that's perfect. So we don't actually need to change anything here. But we are going to need to extend our approach a bit here to get down to the right altitude. What we can do is bring in a bit of speed brakes. You have to be quite careful with these speed brakes because they're very powerful. So one detent there is probably going to be enough. Okay, so we are actually going to go down to 2,000 feet to intercept the ILS, which is 609 meters. Why am I doing it like this? Let's do that. Okay, then ILS frequency is 110.3. So let's go back here and set this 110.3, and the course for that is 11 degrees. So we'll dial that in. I'm not entirely sure what these buttons actually do, to be honest. Okay, but that's set. And now if we flip that over here to landing, which is this one, that should be set there too, which is perfect. And we'll make sure that this one stays on, not that, on that one, which is our GPS navigation. Okay, the other thing I want to do is just turn my heading bug to match where we are going, because we're going to have to do a bit of our own vectoring here. Okay, so there we have our approach now loaded. probably can see the airport already from up here. It's down there somewhere. Yeah, there it is there. Okay, so let's maybe do a bit of an orbit here already. Okay, so we're going to go into course 1, which is going to put us into heading mode. And this will just keep us in a constant left-hand turn here. We can actually dial the speed up to 460, which will keep us below 250 knots even when we get below 10,000 feet. Okay, then our MDA today is 101 feet. So we do, that's 30 meters, 31 meters pretty much. So let's see if we can dial that in here. So that I think would be 30, so it's about there. So that's set. Okay, now we also need to decide where exactly we're going to park when we land at the airport, because this aircraft is quite big. So to be honest, I think we're going to go park at the Air Force hangars. The only thing that worries me about that is the fence on either side of this small taxiway. I think we should be able to fit through it, or at least our engines should go over it. So I think that's what we're going to do. So we're landing runway 1, which means we're going to go all the way to the end. We're not going to stop at Lima. We'll go all the way to the end and taxi into the airport hangars like that. I think that's going to be the best. Okay, let's see if we can get ourselves back on our GPS course here. So we should actually just be flying out parallel to the runway now anyway. So let's go back onto heading. There's the airport down there. Those are the hangars actually where we're going to park. Right, I should have done the landing lights earlier because we're already below 10,000 feet. we can start slowing down to 450 and get the first notch of flaps in. Okay, so we'll go one notch of flaps, and there you'll see our restriction or speed restriction, I don't know, meter, line, indicator comes down. We're going to extend this quite a bit more than we usually would. We're going to go right out there, come in just to make sure we can line up and stabilize nicely on approach. Just passing Stellenbosch now. Okay, I'm just going to go into vertical speed mode because we don't have to descend quite so quickly anymore. We've kind of bled off all of that extra altitude. Okay, we probably want to avoid those mountains. Do a bit of a turn to the right here. I think we are good to make our turn now.
Okay, we'll start slowing down to 400 now so we can get the next stage of flaps out. Want to turn a little more to the left. Okay, 416 is our max speed for flaps 15, so we can take that now. And now we'll go ahead and put it into approach mode. Okay, let's arm our reverser. Okay, there's the localizer, and we're watching the glide slope as well. That should start coming down shortly. There it comes. Right, let's go gear down now before we intercept that, and we can arm the vertical mode as well to intercept the ILS. And we're going to start bringing the speed way down now. Next stage of flaps. And flaps full. We can put the gear back to neutral now. Okay, we're going to take manual control of the throttles. We can start slowing down even more now. Okay, let's take control of the aircraft completely now, and we'll hand fly it down to the runway. There's minimums, continue. We'll just hold it off a bit here. And touchdown. And we'll take reverse now. Alright, but there we are, arrived in Cape Town. I think FS Realistic made the landing look a little bit harder than it actually was, because it did jump around quite a bit. Okay, let's get the flaps up. Come up here and set the lights to taxi, and we'll turn off the strobe lights as well. Need to be careful on this narrow taxiway. There's the fence that I'm worried about. I think if we keep it perfectly in the middle, we should be fine. Okay, we also need to set the idle switches to high. I mean, that fence is pretty high, but the engines for this aircraft are also high off the ground. Okay, we're not going to follow that taxiway because we're going to come in at our own angle here. I think something like that will work. Right, let's go and set the parking brake. And now we can actually do all the after landing stuff that was a bit difficult while trying to taxi in. So we can turn the window heats off. The DME bus on on that side. And where is that on this side? There we go. Let's lower the reverse bar. And then we need to come back here and start up the APUs. While that's starting up, we can actually turn off and retract all of our external lights. We'll keep nav and beacon on for now. And we'll come this side so long and start turning off all of these guys. Okay, let's start APU 2 as well. And we can switch off the engine hydraulic pumps. Okay, we'll turn on the generator for APU 1. And we can then switch off the engine generators, because we want to get the engines shut down as soon as we can. Okay, there's APU 2. Now, to shut down the engines, I believe we come here. And I think it's these ones. That definitely sounds like the engines are shutting down. Right, then we can come up here and turn all of these off. So we've already done that one. Cool, and same on this side. Okay, and then we can switch off the rest of the lights. And come back this side. No, we want to come back here, this one. We can do these guys all off. And same with these. And then we can switch off the batteries. Okay, this is assuming we're not going to unload right now. Because when we do unload, we would have to turn some of that back on again. There we are. We didn't put our wing into the hangar, did we? No, we didn't. There we are, arrived safely in Cape Town. I think what I am going to do, actually, is just jump back in. Can we do this without switching on the aircraft? So I think maybe we can. Is it actually going to open? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll give that a chance to open with all of our cargo, and we'll kind of finish the flight how we started it. Alright, well there we have it. Safely arrived in Cape Town, and 3 new Black Hawk helicopters delivered safely to Cape Town.
using the Antonov AN225, and what a beast this aircraft is. I had so much fun flying that. It's such a different experience from flying any other airliners, so we'll definitely be doing some more flights in the AN225. But that is going to bring us to the end of this flight. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do down below, and I will see you in the next one.